Suffice to say, it's not going well so far.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I mean, he's got 4 years and change that he's going to ultimately have to serve, although he has served already a year as he awaited his trial and then went through his trial. So
Diddy's own lawyers are reportedly dipping out, and it is not because some contract ran out on paper, it is because insiders claim they are trying to bail before things get way worse for H. This is not some normal legal shuffle. This looks like a full-on meltdown, and the public story already feels like it is hiding pieces. People close to the situation are saying the exits are happening because the legal team has seen enough behind the scenes to know there is no smooth way out of this mess. At the same time, the Keefe D trial is locked in for August, and nobody can clearly say if Diddy is getting pulled in as a witness or possibly labeled an accomplice in the Shakur case. And that puts everything on edge. Either path looks rough, no way around it. If he takes the stand, his street image could take a serious hit in front of everybody watching. If things go the other way and he gets tied in deeper, then it is not just about time, it links his name to one of the most talked about unsolved cases in hip-hop history. There is no easy lane here, no middle ground, just high-stakes outcomes whichever way it turns. And the people who understand his case the most are already heading for the exit, and that alone says a lot. Now pause right there, because this is exactly where the official story starts to fall apart. Whenever a big-name attorney steps away, the same safe excuse gets pushed out: contract ended, routine change, nothing serious going on. That is what everyone is expected to believe. Just accept it and move on. But insiders are telling a completely different story, and it is way more intense. They are not stepping away because some paperwork expired. They are making moves because they do not want to be caught in the fallout if things crash. That is a serious signal. Legal teams do not just walk away from clients they think they can defend and win with. They do not drop strategies they spent months building unless something is seriously off behind the scenes. So now, the real question starts getting louder. What have they seen that nobody else has? Because whatever it is enough to make experienced lawyers step back fast. And with the August trial getting closer, this is no longer just talk. This is a situation that is about to play out in real time. It is not just some basic hearing. This is a fixed date that cannot be brushed off. Keefe D is set to stand trial over the death of Shakur, and now all eyes are locked in, watching to see if Diddy gets pulled into this as a witness or possibly something more serious. Nobody has a clear answer yet, and that is not media spin. That is the real situation right now. Federal prosecutors have already gone on record saying Combs was not acting alone in a wider pattern of behavior, and that statement is still hanging heavy over everything.
Prosecutors, on the other hand, said Diddy was not sorry and that his apology was phony and that there was some serious harm done to the victims of this case. Like you said, they wanted a sentence of at least 11 years. Ultimately, we know a sentence has now been shared with the court.
At the same time, Diddy is sitting in a low-security facility in New Jersey, and on paper, things look like they are improving because his release date got moved up. But here is where it starts to feel off. While that good news is being talked about, reports say his own legal team is trying to distance themselves before August even hits. That contrast is hard to ignore. So the question gets louder. If everything is really under control like some claim, why are the people closest to his defense trying to step away right now? And here is the part that does not sit right at all. On one side, it looks like he is in a better position than he was months ago, with the Bureau of Prisons adjusting his timeline twice. He is now expected to be released on April 15th, 2028.
And I think Sam Bankman-Fried were in the unit that was one floor above mine. You know, so in terms of like the setting, it's a fairly decent chance that the room I'm describing is similar to where Diddy is. Yeah.
Which sounds positive, but stacked against everything else happening, it raises even more eyebrows. His appeal is sitting in front of a federal appeals court right now, and on paper, that sounds like progress. He even managed to get a judge to dismiss a massive $100 million defamation lawsuit against NBC Universal. But here is the twist that makes it hit different. The same judge also said his reputation was already damaged before that documentary ever dropped. That kind of win does not feel like a win at all. It reads more like bad news dressed up in legal language. And still, none of that clears up why insiders keep describing him as shaken and under serious pressure. That part does not line up. People do not act like that when everything is going their way. That kind of energy usually shows up when there is more going on behind closed doors. Right now, the gap between what is officially happening in court and what is being said about his state of mind is huge. It does not match up at all. So, which story are people supposed to trust? Because according to sources close to the situation, Diddy is not just sitting in Fort Dix relaxed, waiting for that appeal decision to come through. Something about this.
Well, I mean, inmates have procedures all the time. I mean, you have folks there with cancer, you have folks there with, serious other chronic diseases. And sometimes it does require individuals to have surgery even while they're on pretrial status. So,
whole situation feels way more tense than it looks. He is being described as someone who feels the pressure building fast, like the walls are closing in, even while the calendar says he is getting closer to release. That contrast is hard to ignore. Normally, when someone sees their release date move up, they start to relax. They think about what comes next. They stop acting like every call is about to bring bad news. But reports claim Diddy is reacting in the complete opposite way. Instead of easing up, he is said to be tense and trying to stay in control from the inside. Prosecutors have already put forward claims that he has been using other inmates' phone accounts to get around monitoring, attempting to reach witnesses, and even directing people to move money through commissary deposits. Those are serious accusations, and they do not match the behavior of someone who feels confident in their legal strategy. That kind of movement looks more like someone under pressure, making rushed decisions while things start slipping. And it does not stop there. The situation is getting bigger than just what is happening in court. New lawsuits are still being filed, real civil claims from people who say they have been holding on to their stories for years before speaking up. Each new filing hits like a fresh shockwave, grabbing attention and keeping the spotlight locked in. And every single one adds more weight to the situation, making it clear this is not slowing down anytime soon. It is not slowing down. It is picking up speed fast. A judge in the defamation case already made it clear, saying Diddy's reputation was damaged before that documentary even came out. That is a strong statement, basically saying there was nothing left to defend in the first place. And even with that on record, more accusers keep stepping forward, more filings keep hitting the system, and more people are reportedly telling their lawyers they are ready to speak up. This is not a situation cooling off. This is something gaining momentum in a direction no defense team wants to deal with. Every new claim adds another layer, making things heavier and harder to contain. And there is another side to this that cannot be ignored. The people staying quiet right now are just as important, because that silence can carry weight too. Sometimes what is not being said ends up shaping the situation just as much as everything that is out in the open. Tanika Ray, who once worked with Diddy as a backup dancer, has already spoken out, and she made it clear that none of this is shocking to her. She pointed back to her own experience in 1996, calling it horrific, and said only 5 people truly know what happened, and she might never reveal it. That is not something you can easily turn into a courtroom claim, but it definitely sends a message. People who were once close to his world are not stepping up to defend him loudly. They are not brushing these allegations off like they are nothing. Instead, they are speaking carefully, choosing their words, hinting that they have known things for a long time. In a situation like this, every voice matters, and every statement shifts the pressure instantly. And when the people who could support him stay quiet, that silence starts to feel just as powerful as direct accusations. Now add this on top of everything else, because it raises even more questions. Prosecutors have claimed that from inside, Diddy has been using at least 8 different inmates' phone accounts to get around monitoring. 8! That is not a small mistake. That sounds organized. On top of that, there are allegations he has been guiding people to send money to other inmates through payment apps and commissary deposits, just to keep that phone access going. If those claims hold weight, that kind of setup points to something much bigger than a one-time move. It suggests a pattern that is hard to ignore. Think about the level of coordination that would take. He is in a low-security prison, supposedly contained, yet prosecutors claim he is still making moves, still reaching out, still trying to influence what witnesses might say. If those filings are accurate, then these allegations are officially on the record, and that raises a serious question. What happens when his release date actually hits? Because moving that date closer could mean giving someone accused of interfering even more access on the outside. That is where things start to feel risky. Now bring it back to August, because that timeline is not slowing down for anyone. The Keith D trial is set, and it is not waiting for Diddy to sort out his legal team or figure out his exact role in all of this. That moment is coming fast, and everyone around him knows it. If he ends up testifying, that label sticks, and his reputation could take a major hit in the culture that once supported him. If it goes the other way and he is named as an accomplice, then he is facing a completely new level of legal exposure that was not even part of the conversation before. There is no easy way through this situation, just two high-pressure outcomes, and both come with serious consequences. There is no third option here, and that is what makes this hit even harder. The people who are supposed to help guide him through this are reportedly trying to step away before things reach their peak. That does not look like a solid defense plan. That feels more like a situation falling apart fast, with people quietly looking for exits. There has been constant talk about sealed evidence, about videos that have not been made public, and about more individuals getting ready to come forward. That kind of buildup keeps adding pressure, piece by piece. Every new detail that surfaces makes the August trial feel less like a standard court date and more like a moment that could change everything instantly. He is not walking into that courtroom as some neutral figure just answering questions. He is stepping in with reports of his own legal team pulling back, with a reputation that a judge has already said was damaged, and with questions around his connection to one of hip-hop's most talked about unsolved cases about to play out in public view. That is a heavy position to be in. And there is one more detail that cannot be brushed aside. The same prosecutors who brought up the interference allegations have also made it clear the investigation is still active, and they stated on record that Combs was not acting alone. That is not rumor or guesswork. That is an official statement, and it keeps the pressure locked in. So even if Diddy makes it through the August trial without being labeled an accomplice, even if his appeal somehow goes in his favor, even if his release date gets pushed up again, he is still under an active investigation. That part does not go away. Other people could still face charges, and new evidence could still come out at any moment. This is not a situation with a clean ending. It keeps expanding. And look at everything stacked together right now. Reports of his lawyers trying to step back, a reputation that a judge has already said was damaged, and a high-pressure situation waiting for him in August with no middle ground. That combination raises a serious question people keep whispering about. How much more intense can this get before August even gets here? Now here is something that shifted everything, but does not get talked about enough. When the jury went back in to deliberate, the outcome came back mixed. He was convicted on 2 counts related to transportation for commercial activity, but cleared on racketeering, conspiracy, and human trafficking charges. That split result changes how everything is viewed, because it shows the case is not as simple as people try to make it seem. And it leaves the door open for even more twists as this situation keeps unfolding. Those were the charges that could have meant a life sentence. So on paper, it looks like he won the biggest battle and avoided the worst-case outcome of dying in prison. But what happened next flipped the whole situation in a way people did not expect. The judge came back and still used conduct tied to those acquitted charges to increase his sentence. That is how it landed at 50 months, along with a $500,000 fine and 5 years of supervised release after he gets out. That does not feel like a clean win at all. It feels like escaping the harshest blow only to realize the fight is far from over. Now look at what his own legal team is arguing in the appeals court, because this is where it gets intense. They are saying the judge stepped beyond his role, almost like acting as a 13th juror, ignoring what the jury already decided and punishing him for things he was not convicted of. That is a serious claim, but prosecutors are pushing back hard, arguing the judge had every right to look at the full context of how those commercial activity counts played out. That back and forth sets up a legal clash that could reshape how this entire case is viewed moving forward. 3 judges heard the arguments on April 9th, and since then, nothing but silence. No ruling yet, no clear direction, just everything hanging in the balance. Meanwhile, Diddy is sitting in Fort Dix, watching his release date shift closer, while his legal team argues that his sentence was built on a serious legal mistake. If the court sides with him, he could be out much sooner than expected. But if they do not, that April 15th, 2028 date becomes the only finish line in sight, and it is still a long road. Now rewind to before all of this exploded into public view, because this part adds another layer. Back in March 2024, federal agents carried out raids on his homes in Los Angeles and Miami. They took electronics, documents, and other items. But then the inventory started raising eyebrows. Reports listed 3 firearms with defaced serial numbers, a drum magazine loaded with dozens of rounds, and other substances. Then came the detail that had everyone talking: more than 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricant. That number was not just gossip, it was written directly into official court filings. Details like that only added more attention to the case, pushing it further into the spotlight and keeping people locked in on every new development. They listed those items right next to weapons and ammunition, like everything belonged in the same evidence log, and that alone raised eyebrows. A lot of people laughed at the number because it sounded unreal, but laughing at it does not make it disappear. If anything, it makes it easier to overlook what that kind of volume could actually point to. And then there is the part that nobody was joking about. The same filing reportedly mentioned videos, a large number of recordings tied to events prosecutors have been describing privately for months. According to reports, those recordings exist. They have not been released to the public, but they are in the hands of federal agents. They have been referenced with witnesses and brought up in detention memos and bail hearings. So the real question is not whether those recordings are real or not, because they have already been acknowledged in official settings. The bigger question is what happens if more of that material becomes part of the public record? In a case this large, with so many filings and so many people involved, sealed evidence does not always stay hidden forever. If more details come out, it could shift everything again, and that possibility is what keeps the tension high around this entire situation. Now look at what just happened with his defamation case, because this part hits hard. He filed a massive $100 million lawsuit against NBC Universal over a Peacock documentary claiming it destroyed his reputation. But the judge shut that down completely, and not in a soft way either. Judge Phaedra F. Perry Bond dismissed the case and made her position very clear. She ruled that his reputation had already been damaged long before that documentary ever aired. She pointed to earlier lawsuits, the hotel video, ongoing media coverage, and even the criminal indictment itself as reasons why the claim did not hold up. That kind of ruling sends a strong message. It is basically saying the damage was already there and you cannot hold someone responsible for breaking something that was already in pieces. That is more than just losing a case. It is a public statement from the court about how his situation is being viewed overall. And while that decision closes one door, the bigger picture does not slow down at all. Civil cases are still being filed, more claims are still surfacing, and the pressure around him keeps building with every new development. This is not just a few isolated claims. This is a pattern that stretches across years. 1990, 1991, 2003, 2018, each filing brings a different timeline, a different place, and a different set of details that add to the bigger picture. That kind of spread gets attention for a reason. Cassie Ventura's case made huge headlines with a fast settlement, but it did not stop there. More names followed: Joy Dickerson-Neal, Liza Gardner, Rodney Jones, Crystal McKinney, April Lampros, Dawn Richard, and others, each one creating its own wave of coverage as new claims surfaced. Every filing adds another layer, keeping the spotlight locked in. Prosecutors have also said they have spoken with more than 50 individuals, including both witnesses and people making claims. That number stands out because it shows the process is still moving, still gathering information, and still expanding beyond what many expected after the indictment first dropped. And here is the part that did not get as much attention as it should have. Buried under all the noise and headlines, there is another detail that could shift how people see this entire situation. The U.S. Attorney, Damian Williams, made a public statement that stands out. He said Combs did not act alone, and he did not keep it vague either. He pointed to categories like security staff, household staff, and even high-level figures in the music industry. He also confirmed the investigation is still ongoing, which sends a clear signal. That is not just general talk, that is a prosecutor outlining a wider circle of people who could still face serious consequences. So when people look at the pressure surrounding Diddy, it is not just about him alone. There is also pressure building around those who were connected to his operations in different roles. It raises real questions. Who else has already been interviewed? Who has been subpoenaed? And when could more names start showing up in official filings? That part is still unfolding. Now shift to someone who has not filed a lawsuit or appeared in a documentary, but still spoke out publicly. Tanika Ray, who worked with Diddy as a backup dancer, said that none of what is happening now surprises her. She described her own experience from 1996 as horrific and said only 5 people know the full story, adding that she may never share it. That kind of statement carries weight because it suggests there are still stories out there that have not been fully told, and some of them have been held in silence for decades. She is not promoting anything, not selling a book, not chasing headlines. She is simply watching everything unfold and quietly confirming that people inside that world have known things for a long time. That kind of silence is not empty, it carries weight, it builds over years, and now it is starting to show. And then there is the Aaron Carter speculation, which needs to be handled carefully. There is no verified evidence linking his death to Diddy, and that needs to be clear. Authorities officially ruled it an accidental drowning, with substance use listed as a contributing factor. Those are the confirmed facts. At the same time, Carter did say before his passing that if anything happened to him, he did not do it to himself. His mother has also questioned aspects of the investigation online, speaking in comment sections and raising her own concerns. That has led some people online to connect dots on their own, even though no law enforcement agency has confirmed any connection at all. That does not serve as proof of anything, but it does show the kind of atmosphere surrounding this case right now. When a situation grows this large, this intense, and stretches back this far, people start linking unrelated events and unanswered questions together. That is where public suspicion starts to rise, and it shows just how much tension is wrapped around everything happening right now. And through all of this, the allegations about his behavior while in prison have not faded at all. Prosecutors have laid out detailed claims, saying he has been using other inmates' phone accounts, 8 of them, to get around monitoring. They also allege he has been directing people to send money through commissary deposits, trying to contact witnesses, and even attempting to influence what people say. One filing even pointed to a strong inference that he may have paid off an unnamed witness who had posted on Instagram. Those are not small technical issues. Those are serious accusations suggesting he was still trying to manage the narrative even after being taken into custody. Now bring it back to the bigger picture, because this is where everything connects. The August trial is still on the calendar, and the question of whether he appears as a witness or something more is still unresolved. But now, all of these claims, the legal pressure, the ongoing investigation, and the reported behavior from inside, they all stack on top of that moment. That is what makes the situation feel so intense, because everything seems to be building toward the same point at once. An appeal that could swing in either direction, a raid inventory that raised serious questions, a judge who openly said his reputation was already damaged before that documentary even dropped, a federal prosecutor confirming the investigation is still active, with the possibility that more people could be charged, and a former insider sharing that she holds a horrific story from 1996 that she may never reveal. This is not just one problem, it is a whole network of issues, and every time it seems like you can map it out, it expands even more. There is always another layer, another angle, another detail pulling attention back in. So, where does that leave him right now? Yes, he avoided the possibility of a life sentence, which on paper looks like a major outcome. But at the same time, he is still in a low-security prison, while his own legal team is battling over whether the judge went too far in extending his sentence. His release date may have moved closer, but the overall situation around him is still growing, still shifting, and still far from settled. The civil cases keep coming in, one after another, and the criminal investigation is still active with no clear end in sight. And sitting right there ahead is the August trial, locked in place like a target that no amount of legal strategy can make disappear. Right now, it does not even look like a win or a loss. It feels like he is stuck in a position where every move brings more pressure and more exposure. So what happens next when the appeals court finally makes its decision? Does the Second Circuit reduce that sentence, or does he end up serving the full 50 months? And when August finally arrives, does he step in as a witness, or does things take a turn and place him in a much deeper position? There are a lot of unanswered questions, and this situation is still unfolding in real time. Drop your thoughts in the comments because this is one people are watching closely. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share if you want more updates like this, and stay locked in for what comes next.